Welcome back. It is day, who knows, of virtual math. We're back in the man cave. I hope everybody had an awesome spring break. I'm still in spring break mode. I think the kids call that drip right there. So I'm still in the mode. I'm happy to be back to the grind. Hopefully you guys are too. It is Tuesday, April 21st. We are going to review yesterday's Fantastic Five. Look, you know the drill. Your number yesterday, it doesn't matter. As long as we are making that climb towards a 5. So we're going to get right into it here. Let's get these questions pulled up. Let's get cracking. All right. Tanner has a garden that is 12 feet long and 6 feet wide. He's going to plant one flower for each square foot. Each bag of flowers contains 8 flowers. How many bags does Tanner need to buy? So look, there's a lot to unpack in that question. And this is another one of those good questions where you can really say you're not going to necessarily rely on your keywords. Because I know when I see square feet, that makes me think area. When I see the word each, a lot of people ultimately just decide, boom, multiply. But it can also mean divide. You might also see bags of and think multiply. And technically you could multiply. It really depends on which direction you take to solve this question. There are tons of different ways to solve this question. So you may have done it a different way. If it worked, that's awesome. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a little, I'm going to do a little. So if it says that Tanner's got a garden that's 12 feet long and 6 feet wide, I'm instantly going to draw that. I'm going to draw that picture, which in this case would be a rectangle. I guess it's going with pink. 12 and 6. All right. And when I saw square feet, again, I thought area. So area is equal to length times width, which we have. And if you know your facts, this becomes way easier. 12 times 6 would give you an area of 72 square feet. So the question said he wants to plant a flower for every square foot that he has, meaning he's going to need 72 flowers. So that doesn't mean he needs to go buy 72 packs of flowers because they come in packs of 8. So you could have saw that word each and thought, okay, if they come in packs of 8, boom, how many of those would I need until I got 72? 8 times what is going to get me there? Which, if you know your facts, boom, you're done. Or you could have said, well, I've got 72 flowers that I need. They come in equal groups of 8, which equal groups of would have made you say, ooh, let me divide. You would have got the same answer doing it that way. So here I probably would have done the division, which you could have set it up the long ways. But guys, that's why your teacher's been telling you all year long why your multiplication is so important. If you know 8 times something to give you 72, that's going to give your answer. And if you drew this picture, it would take you 9 full bags of those flowers to get to 72, and that would have given you the answer of D. So once you knew the area, you could have then used your answer choices if you wanted to. You could have gotten rid of A and B. Logically, you know that wouldn't make sense because 72 times 8 and 36 times 8 are going to give you a lot bigger number than what you need. It really came down to C and D. But again, a couple of different paths you can take on that question. It's really up to you how you decide to solve it. So it's been a little while since you may have done some area and perimeter. That's one that as the week goes on, you're going to pretty much solve it the same way. So if your way didn't work today, or if your way didn't work yesterday, try the new way today. Division, multiplication, whichever you choose. All right, number 2, kind of a similar question with how we're going to solve it. It says the distance around the basketball court is 74 feet. If the court is 25 feet long, how wide is it? So this is kind of how I always taught my kids when I taught 3rd grade and 4th grade. When it's talking about the distance around, it's talking about the perimeter. Because I always think about that action movie where you got the guy on the walkie-talkie who says, hey, you check the inside, I'll check the perimeter. He's talking about walking around the outside of the building or the house or wherever they're at. So again, this is a good read a little, do a little, and just do exactly what it says. What do we got? This perimeter is 74 25 long. All right, so we'll draw that picture since it didn't give us one. And y'all, if you're not drawing pictures on these, draw pictures on these. And I think I got a smaller marker now. All right, there is my court or whatever it said that we had. It is 25 feet long. The perimeter is 74 feet. Okay, so now you kind of have to use what it gives you. If I know that top is 25 feet long, the opposite side is also going to be 25 feet long. We're trying to figure out this right here. We got to know the width of this court. So using what it gave us, we're kind of going to figure out what we're going to put there. So I know I've got 25 up top, 25 at the bottom. Let me add those together and see what I already have. And if I pop 25 plus 25, boom, I've got 50. So my total perimeter 74, I've already got 50 of those feet. Now I just have to figure out what's left. That word left should instantly tell you, let me subtract. So take that 74 feet. Let's get rid of the 50 feet that you already have. 4 minus 0 is 4. 7 minus 5 is 2. And that gives you 24. I'm willing to bet money that the most common answer that was chosen that was wrong was 24. But guys, you have to remember, and look, I can tell if you're checking your work or not. Here's my court. We had 25 and 25. Guys, you've got 24 feet left, but you've got 2 sides that you have to cover. So you got to take that 24 and you've got to split it evenly between those 2 sides. And again, here's where your multiplication comes in. If I do 24 divided by those 2 sides, you just got to know 2 times something to give you 24, and that would give you the answer of 12. So when it's asking how wide it is, it would have been 12 feet. So here's what I mean when I say I can tell if you're checking your work. And it's really going to be clear for the rest of the week. And I think I've gotten on my class before for this type of question, because really you should only miss this once. If you missed it today, no big deal. You shouldn't miss it again, because you can just plug in your answer choices. If you said that answer was 24, I know you didn't check that, because you did. If you did 25 plus 25 plus 24 plus 24, you're not going to get 74. So then you would have said, okay, I messed up somewhere. Let me go back and take a look. But guys, really, and this way takes a little bit longer, you can just take your answer choices, 25, 25, and then plug them in. Take 49 and put it on the sides. You're going to find out that's way too big. Plug in 24 on the sides, too big. 12 would work, but then if you put 1,850, logically, you know that would not make sense. That would be if you maybe got it confused with the first question and did some area instead of perimeter. But nothing in that question would have led me to area, because we don't see anything about multiplication. We don't see the word square feet either. So if you're missing that one 2 days in a row, your teacher's going to be able to look at their data and say, okay, I know so-and-so didn't check that one. So make sure you're drawing that picture, you're plugging stuff in, and avoid that situation if you can. All right, number 3, which is, to me, and I don't like this word, I don't use it very often, number 3 is easy. And the reason I say that is because if you took notes the week before spring break when we were talking about geometry, and you're talking about parallelograms, and we're looking at all these shapes, you should know exactly what a parallelogram is. And really, when you hear it, it should click. A parallelogram has got 2 pairs of parallel sides. So again, this just comes down to, did you memorize it or not? Did you take the time to learn this stuff? There's not really any math involved. And I'll start from the bottom going up here. A rhombus has 2 sets of parallel sides. It's a parallelogram. Same for a square, same for a rectangle. I've always referred to a trapezoid as the lonely quadrilateral, because it only has 1 pair of parallel sides. And to be a parallelogram, you have to have 2. So that answer would have been A. So again, I'm going back to data. I'm crazy with data. I love data. But I'll be able to look at my list and I'll know, ooh, so-and-so, blah, 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 whoever didn't take notes last week, because that one, to me, we should be knocking that one out all week. Now, number 3 is going to be a geometry question all week. It's not necessarily going to have to do with a parallelogram every time, but if you take some time to go back and look at those slideshows, you'll be able to find your answer for 3 in one of those all week long. So I'm looking at number 3 closely. I just caught a picture of myself in the corner. I look ridiculous. Goodness gracious. Okay, number 4. Again, this one can come down to 1 or 2 words. It depends if you read it correctly. It says, how many ribbons measured less than 6.5 inches? Less than 6.5 inches. So guys, first thing you got to do is look at your line plot. This is measuring the ribbons, how long they are. Okay, down at the bottom, this shows how long they are in inches. And these X's represent the ribbons. So if I'm looking right here at 5 inches, those 2 X's mean there are 2 ribbons that were 5 inches. If I'm looking here at 6 3/4 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribbons were 6 3/4 inches. So I'm looking for less than 6.5. So let me find 6.5, which I've got right here. The most common mistake is right here on this one, people want to count 6.5 inches. Guys, 6.5 is not less than 6.5. 6.5 is 6.5. So if I want to look less than that, I've got to look at all the X's to the left. Now, if it said how many are 6.5 inches or shorter, then you would include it. So it really depends on how the question's worded and how you read it. So if I want to know less than 6.5 inches, I'm looking over here to the left. Siri, nobody's talking to you. Sorry about that. So here's 6.5 going to the left. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which would have given you C. I'm telling you it's going to be the same line plot all week, but I have worded these questions to try to trick you because, guys, that's what they do on the EOG. People get paid to try to trick you. That was my goal this week. If you're getting number 4 right all week, fist pound for you, pat on the back, or fist pound, boom, there. Because that one I'm going to make tricky. A math test is exactly like a reading test. All right, speaking of reading, I'm going to pat myself on the back for this question. I love this question. All right, it says a farmer has 348 apples. He's going to organize them into equal groups, divide, of 3. Here's the important part. If he sells 85 of the groups, how many apples does he have left? So let's get in here. Let's get that whiteboard up and let's see what we got. Get out of here. Bye-bye. All right. Here are my 348 apples. And again, if I want to split them into equal groups of 3, I would divide. Dangerous monkey, swipe bananas. And we would start with division. 3 can go into 3 one time because 3 times 3 is 3. About mess that up. 3 minus 3 is 0. And then I would bring down the 4. And I'd start all over again. 3 can go into 4 one time because, again, 3 times 1 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. And then I'd bring down the 8. So I'm going to get kind of funky and go sideways here because I don't have enough room. You know what I'm doing, though. Going back to the top, I'm going to divide again. 3 can go into 18 6 times because 3 times 6 is 18. 18 minus 18 is 0. And since I have nothing to bring down, that means I am finished. So guys, you got to know what this 116 represents. 348 apples, splitting them into equal groups of 3. That means I have 116 groups. That's not apples, that's 116 groups. So let's get this out of here. All right, and it said, I already forgot what the question says, so I think I sold 85. All right, he sells 85 of the groups. So I can do that real quick. I've got 116. Let me sell 85 of them. Guys, when you sell something, you're getting rid of it. It's gone. So we're going to subtract. All right, make sure our place values lined up. Starting in the ones place, 6 minus 5 gives me 1. Moving to the tens place, I can't do 1 minus 8. more on the floor. We're going to go next door and get 10 more. This one is now a 0. This one is now 11. And then I can keep rolling. 11 minus 8 is 3. And the 0 can stay up there. I can bring it down. I don't have to. Now you've got to know what that 31 represents. I'm frozen here, but you can hear my voice. That 31, again, is not apples. That is 31 groups. The question asked, if I sold those 85 groups, how many apples would I have left? So I'm willing to bet a lot of people chose 31 as the answer, but that's not 31 apples, it's 31 groups. But what I do know is that there's 3 apples in each of those groups. If I've got 31 groups, there's 3 apples in each. Guys, you got to multiply on that. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. That leaves me with 93 apples, which would give me the answer choice of B. Y'all, the word apples is in all capital letters for a reason. So I think my goal this week, and I'm not trying to be mean, but my goal this week is to make you slow down and think and read. Because guys, and I'm only speaking for my class. I don't know how other students are doing, but when I look at these numbers, you know, I expect to see green, 1s to 2s to 3s to 4s to 5s. I want it should be going up. But I'm seeing people going from 5s to 3s to 5s to 1. It shouldn't be as wavy as it is. So my goal this week is I want you to slow down. I want to make sure you're watching these videos because, y'all, I see the views. Look, I'm not expecting to get famous here, but I do expect to see you guys watching the videos. And by looking at the scores, a lot of you are. But I can really tell when you're not. And again, you don't have to waste 15 minutes watching the whole thing. If you know what you're doing, but you really struggle with number 5, fast forward to the end. That's what you need to do. Do it. But again, your score today, it doesn't matter. What's really going to matter is what you end up doing, or what you scored yesterday doesn't matter. But what you scored today is going to show me a lot. And it doesn't matter if it goes from a 1 to a 2. If you're improving, you're moving in the right direction. As always, for those of you who take the time to watch this, you know I appreciate it. I hope it's helpful. Didn't have a guest today because I got nobody who wants to join me, but you know what? That's all right. I'm going to be here. You can't get rid of me. Take your time. Do your best. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.